Hey everyone, I'm David Sopransky, your host for Financial Revelations. You can hear me every week on WCRF at 8 a.m. Tomorrow I'll be on from the jungle at 8 a.m. on WCRF. Now you don't need to listen to WCRF because you could download their app. You could call our office. You can, all this is going to be streaming down. There's going to be some small child interference today because we're in the jungle drilling a well. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about today. We have Pastor Marcos with us. We have Melissa with us, who's our translator and the newest employee of our firm. So she speaks Portuguese. She lived in the jungle for a while. She's out of the jungle and into the financial jungle.
Yeah.
And she's going to be interpreting. And my wife is right here off screen. You can't see her. You can see her hand. She's here to smack my face if I say something wrong. That's her only purpose on the recording today. So we're here in the middle. I'm not going to give the exact location, I don't think, because I don't know who's going to watch us and come after us. But the people that are here are so lovely. Come on in. Come on. Come here. Come on in. You can see some of the children. There's children all over the place. They're doing children's church. You know, and a lot of people from the podcast donated to the trip. And I want to thank you guys. Your generosity is astounding and allowed us to bring people that can't afford to come. And so we want people to see this. So if somebody is a pastor or a music worship leader and they want to come here and they just can't afford it, your money allowed them to happen. Also, Amazon Bob and Margie Cutler donated to the well. It's one of the reasons why we're here at this. They basically donated for the well. Bob has been here several times, but he's not able to come right now. So he sent his money on ahead of him, and we thank him for that. We have a sign to put on the well, and it's been great. But Marcos has been a pastor here. For how long has Marcos been a pastor?
Quantos anos você tem pastoreado nessa região?
20 anos.
About 20 years.
20 years he's been here coming. And how many wells have you
E
dug?
quantos poços tem furado?
Eu não sei precisar exatamente, mas estamos chegando próximo a 60 poços.
I can't tell you the exact number, but it's getting closer to 60.
And I think I've been on maybe 14 of those.
Talvez 14, né? Que o David faz parte. No mínimo.
Acredito que sim.
Yep.
Something
Right.
like that.
Já tem muito tempo que você tem vindo.
You've been coming for a while.
It all runs together. In the background, you could see the boat. That's the boat that we live on while we're here. Money was raised to build that boat. Marcos and his team maintain the boat, and they cook on the boat, and we sleep on the boat, we shower on the boat. And there's even flush toilets on the boat if you're thinking of coming on the boat. So we get a shower at least once a day. You could take 2 a day, but sometimes you get out of the shower and you're just as sweaty as when you went into the shower. Today it's just under 4,000 degrees here. It seems like it's very hot. It's equatorial sun. But there's a way, you know, you pace yourself, you work steady. And we are providing these little guys right here that are all around us. They're going to have fresh, clean water to drink when we leave here. But more important than that is we're delivering the gospel. And that's really what Marcos and the team do is they'll keep coming back here and these people will have a church family that they can go to and they'll know the love of Jesus Christ. In fact, this morning, Melissa, Marcos, myself, and that's small child interference, by the way. And Lavon, my wife, and a bunch of other people, we walked to individual houses and we gave the message of hope of the gospel. And that's really why we're here. We're going to drill a well and we're going to give them fresh water. And that's important because it's for their health. It's the river is dirty. They have a kind of a spring here, but it comes out way up in the jungle. And who knows what happens in between there and here. Probably gets dirty. Think if you were to go to Lake Erie and take a cup of water. The first 10 cups might be okay. That last cup might kill you. So we provide water. Marcos and the team provide water. Maybe he could talk a little bit about the church's outreach to the locals and to the villages and what they do.
Quer saber pouquinho sobre o que a igreja tem feito assim na base, nas comunidades, e como que Deus tem usado a missão aqui?
A missão, ela tem nome por nativos
Our mission is, the name we have is Nativos.
com propósito.
And there's a reason behind that
O
name.
nativo sempre vai nos levar para um entendimento daqueles que vivem na
So
selva,
Nativos would be like natives, and we might think somebody that lives in the jungle,
mas o entendimento não é só esse.
but that's not the only meaning behind that word.
Nativo está relacionado àquele que é natural.
It also means the thing that's natural.
Eu não sou natural do Amazonas.
I might not be naturally from the middle of the jungle here.
Eu sou mais para o sul do Brasil.
I actually came from southern Brazil.
Mas quando a gente chega aqui entendendo o propósito,
But when we get here and we start to understand what God wants, His
e
purpose,
para a gente chegar a esse propósito,
and to how to get to that purpose,
acho que é muito importante que a gente se torne natural do lugar.
we have to become natural as kind of natives to the place.
Então eu digo que nós só podemos frutificar onde Deus planta a gente.
We only can bear fruit where God plants us.
E Deus nos plantou aqui.
And this is where God planted us.
Nativo é com o propósito de
Our
plantação
purpose
de igreja.
is planting churches,
E as igrejas que a Nativo planta são denominadas comunidade cristã.
and then those are just Christian community churches when we plant them.
Também tem um propósito esse nome, comunidade cristã.
And behind just the name of having a community that's a Christian church,
Porque a gente quer viver entendendo essa comunidade que serve Cristo independente de nação.
we want to understand that serving Christ, it doesn't matter where you are and what nation you're from.
Então a Nativos tem plantado igrejas, trazendo esse entendimento de que existe um povo só.
So when we plant churches as nativos or natives, understand that we are one people in the Lord.
Independente se seja de uma nação indígena
Whether you're from an indigenous
ou
nation
não,
or not,
um povo só.
we are one people.
Então as comunidades cristãs têm sido formadas para trazer esse entendimento de Cristo.
So these churches have been founded in that understanding.
E a missão também tem se preocupado com as condições que o povo vive.
And so as Christian community churches, we care about the people and the lives they live and the struggles they live out.
Então, conforme o que Cristo vai nos capacitando,
So as Christ kind of capacitates us and equips us,
a gente vai servindo o povo
we serve people with their needs,
para que eles tenham uma condição melhor
so
também.
they have a better life, a better quality life.
Me vem à mente um texto onde Jesus ele fala sobre pregar o evangelho.
I think about a passage where Jesus talks about preaching the gospel.
Mas ele diz que se tem alguém com fome, dê
But
primeiro
he
de comer,
says if they're hungry, first give them something to
depois
eat,
prega o evangelho.
then preach the gospel
Eu
to
entendo
them.
que esse dar de comer está relacionado a todas as
So I
necessidades das
understand that
pessoas.
this giving someone to eat, it has to do with everyone's needs.
Não só literalmente a
Not
comida.
just food, but their actual needs. All
Hoje,
their
por
needs.
exemplo, estamos trabalhando nessa comunidade para trazer uma água potável.
So today we're working in this community to give them clean, fresh water.
Então, de modo geral, estamos preocupados com a pregação do
So
evangelho,
we care about preaching the gospel,
mas também por uma condição melhor para o
but
povo.
we also care about giving people a good life.
Thank you, Marcos.
Okay.
So next year, well, his team is going to come and drill more wells. And we have this organization called Nativos USA, and that's the United States version of Nativos Brazil. And we raise money inside of the United States to fund the teams to come here, to fund the work that's going on here. And Marcos and his family are coming to the United States in September. And we're going to go to some churches. We're going to talk. We're going to raise money there, spread the word about what we're doing. And you could be part of that if you want to give. If you want to go on a trip with us, we would, not everybody can come here. It's not, for instance, it's not wheelchair friendly to come to the jungle. So there are some people for health reasons can't come on a trip with us. And a lot of those people we know, but they can send a check in and be part of a trip, and we always report in. And, one of the things, I'm in finance, that. And so the finances are important to me. One of the things that we do is we get a very detailed budget of everything. It's more small child interference. We get a detailed budget of everything that's been spent, all the food, the gas, and you think things are expensive in the United States, and they are. Costs are up 25% since who took over president. We'll call him Joe Biden for lack of a better term. Is he really a president? I don't know anymore. But so 25%. Well, costs are up even more here. gas is so expensive here. Diesel fuel is so expensive here. So each year, the cost of drilling a well goes up and up and up, just because the basic costs of living are skyrocketing here too. The difference is in the United States, if you're a person of means, if you're a person of wealth, you can assimilate those things into your budget. But in Brazil, there's a vast difference. There's a very wealthy class of people, and there's a very tiny middle class, and everybody else is pretty much living on the margin. And so if you're on the margin 3 years ago, you're just not eating as much. And that we're seeing that happen in the United States. You know, the people here, they're very crafty. There's no Home Depot within, I don't know how many, like 500 miles. There's not a lot within 100 miles of us. And so they got to make do. All the houses that are behind me, they're made with trees from the jungle right here with chainsaws. They make the boards. And they know a lot about those things, but you know, they're struggling just like everybody else is. They have chickens and ducks and things like that, and they can fish the river. And we can't actually swim in this river. This river is dangerous where we're at. It's one of the first villages that we've been to in a long time where we couldn't swim. There's piranha, and it's brown water, and there's caiman and alligators around, so they don't really swim in these rivers. Can't drink the water, so that's what we're here for, to provide the gospel, and you could be part of that. But they're struggling too. The missionaries are struggling in Maués, where we're from. Melissa's dad, one of the things he started a few years ago is before we leave, we buy all the missionaries groceries, and I'm a little concerned what that grocery cart is going to look like. Listen, we're going to do it anyway because we love these guys. We want to make sure that they're eating and that they have the things that they need to do the things that they're doing. And we love our missionaries. I know if you have missionaries, you love them too. And I hope you're supporting things, not just your church, but outside of your church. You guys can come in here. They can come in. Small child interference. But you know, they don't, I told Levon, I have to yell the chairman of the Federal Reserve at least one time, and I'm going to scare all these kids, but these people don't know who Powell is. I'm scared. But he's as real here as he is at home, because the things that he does affects the whole world. The United States are the finances for the world. Shout out to Henry, who I think is going to probably watch this podcast from Lakewood. And I don't want to share the exact location because I wouldn't want somebody to come on behind us and say, oh, we know them. We know them, and take advantage of them, because they're such sweet people. They've helped with the well. They're receptive to the gospel. You see the kids are all wearing hats that the people that came with us bought, markers, and we've done children's church and spread the gospel. I wouldn't want these people ever to be taken advantage of using our name. So that's why we're not going to share the exact location. You could see Melissa's filthy. I'm dirty. Melissa got sprayed by the well water this morning. One of the hoses on the well kind of came loose and rinsed everybody with this deep red clay mud, and it's never coming out of her clothes. It's permanent. It's like permanent ink. So that's what we're doing here. And I want you to be part of it. We're talking to you. We're filming a Zoom meeting literally from the middle of the jungle using a Starlink. Now, Starlink is from Elon Musk, and Starlink is private, but it's going to go public at some point in time. I read just the other day on Starlink that there's 600 million users of Starlink now worldwide. And one of the things that you see in Brazil is Starlink is everywhere. And when you go to places like this, they could actually use a Starlink right here and have real internet and phone calls. We've been making phone calls from here, doing everything from here online because of Elon Musk. You can't buy that stock right now. You can buy it in Tesla, but eventually Starlink is going to go public, and we're going to want to own that stock. That's a stock that I'm going to be talking about when it does come public. And SpaceX is another one that eventually is going to go public, and we're going to want to be part of that. So Financial Revelations is really a financial podcast, and we've talked ad nauseum about the Federal Reserve and what they've done and the debt levels that this president is doing. And I'm telling you right now, if you're listening to this podcast and you vote Democrat in this election, I'm canceling your membership. I'm kicking you out of the club. You're not going to be part of this club anymore if you vote Democrat. I know, but a lot of people say, well, we only got these two bad choices. Well, one choice is way better than the other bad choice. And we have to vote for sanity. We must vote for sanity in this next election. I'm telling you, we're going to be $50 trillion in debt. And when that happens, what they're going to say is, look, we have no choice but to take all your money because we got to pay this debt. That's where we're leading into right now, the levels of debt. That's small child interference right there. That's great. I love this. I want him to be in this video. I want you to see what we're doing here, the people that we're serving, the people that Marcos is serving. His missionaries are serving these little kids. They may never have heard the name of Jesus before we got here. You know, when we leave it, nobody knows these people exist in America. And that's okay. That's that's fine. But we know that they're here now. And we've got to serve these people. We've got to tell them about the love of Christ and what's available to them. And I'm telling you, these are the sweetest little kids. They're good kids. They deserve to know about the love of Jesus. And that's what your money has done. That's what you've sent us here to do. That's what you've sent Marcos to do. That's our mission when we come here. It's not we dig a water well and they have fresh, clean water to drink. And that is important. But way more important is the love of Christ that they have. And you've helped do that. I got to watch my timer before he gets mad at me. So I wanted to do a podcast from the jungle and not talk a lot about cheer, pow. We did a little bit. I'll be back next week and we'll do a slight recap on this because we'll be out of the jungle and we'll be home. But I wanted you guys to see what we're doing here because so many of you contributed and some of them, they're like $20 contributions. I love that. Don't take money from your home church to give to us. I don't want that money. This is extra money. I want you to tithe. I want you to support your pastor. I want you to make sure that they have food to eat and then give to us and other things too. And you don't have to give to us every year, but we want you to be part of it. We want you to tell you about it. I am David Safransky, a real American, a true red-blooded patriot, and the voice you can trust.